Well, hello there and welcome in. I'm Mary Sue and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we're going to start off with our daily reading. We'll take a look at the overall energies for the day and then go to the tarot for more details. And then directly following the reading, we'll have the 30-day challenge activity if you'd like to join us. I hope you will. All right, let's jump into it. Let's see what is on the horizon for you today. Compassion. Yes, and then there is hope ahead. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. There's a sense of having compassion, perhaps in a situation that you're dealing with, having a little bit of compassion, perhaps for a person that you are in kind of a chaotic situation. There's a sense here that you may not know the whole story, so I'm not saying condoning what has occurred or perhaps what they have done, but a sense of having compassion and just a general compassion for other people, because the energy right now is just so chaotic, right? Understanding we're all feeling this chaotic energy and having compassion for each other. But the energy that's even stronger than that is having compassion for yourself. Okay, so it's sometimes easy for us to have compassion for other people, right? We can maybe we hear more of their story and then we see what has occurred and in a different light, right? Especially if you've been in conflict with somebody and then you find out, well, they're dealing with this other situation. Perhaps they overreacted with you, but it really wasn't directed at you. It was really because they're upset about a different situation. So sometimes we can have compassion for other people so much more quickly than we can have compassion for ourselves. And there's something here about allowing yourself. This is very much like the strength card, right? So it's having compassion for yourself in some situation that you're dealing with and knowing that things are going to change. Understanding that there's cycles in life. There's the ups and the downs. And at this time, you may feel as if things are hopeless, in a certain situation that you're dealing with. But it's understanding, they're kind of showing me all of these fireworks and understanding that there's brighter days ahead very soon. There's brighter days ahead. There's fireworks and inspiration and beautiful things ahead. So allowing yourself to stay hopeful will bring that in faster. The more positive energy we have, the better. Yeah, happiness. Happiness comes from a fulfilled heart and harmonious relationships. Yeah, I feel like there's a situation, okay, that is heavy on your heart at this time. Having compassion. I honestly feel like you don't know the whole story. So it's kind of like having compassion and for the other person in the situation. And then also having compassion for yourself, allowing yourself to feel those feelings. Are you sad? Are you frustrated? Are you angry? It's having enough compassion for yourself that you allow yourself to be present with your emotions in this situation. Yes. So, I feel like there's some situation where flexibility and compassion are necessary in order for you to either rebuild a relationship or to get it back on track. Or if this is a relationship or a situation you do not want to rebuild, it's kind of like allowing yourself to say, okay, I'm moving on to a new situation or relationship for myself, but I also want to learn from this relationship, learn from what has occurred in this relationship so that I can build stronger foundations in the past. Yeah, this is seeing the truth in a situation that either may be coming to an end at this time or is in conflict. You're concerned it may end. Or it could even be the truth, discovering the truth about a situation that ended in the past, okay? It's seeing the truth of a lot of things. I think there's a sense of understanding you didn't understand the whole thing that was going on with somebody else, right? Like you're learning more about why they acted in a specific way or something like that. There's also a sense of understanding that there is some truth for you to recognize about your feelings of this situation. There's almost, I'm not saying that you haven't grieved or you haven't processed any of your emotions in this situation, but really and truly allowing yourself to see how this is like this ending, right? How it, or the fear of an ending, or the chaos in a relationship, how detrimental it could have been for you. But now that you're kind of either on the other side or something is coming back into play here in this situation, you have the ascended masters, right? They're coming in. There is a little bit of victim mentality, feeling either like you're the victim in this situation, right? Somebody has painfully hurt you. And sometimes when we don't allow ourselves to process the emotions of truly being hurt, we can think that we're processing them. But there's an energy here of kind of like almost like spiritually bypassing the real emotions of the situation, right? You could have been focusing on what somebody did. You could, and maybe how that affected your life, maybe affected you personally or your family or whoever's involved here, but not understanding how it really down deep inside affected you. Yes, because I feel like there's something here that you want out of this situation that's near and dear to your heart. We have the hidden motivations, right? So there's something here where you could be trying to work on this relationship because you may have some hidden motivations, all right? Motivations to keep this together, motivations to walk in a different direction. So it's looking at your motivations in this and then asking yourself, are they based on truth or are they based on it's really hard because I feel like you don't know all of the facts in the situation, and kind of like allowing yourself to say, what does my heart tell me in this situation? It's kind of like allowing yourself to pull back from the situation and looking at it more in a factual standpoint, and then at the same time, allowing yourself to really assess the feelings that you're feeling, labeling them, feeling them, allowing yourself to be angry about the situation or to cry about the situation or whatever it is, because it's almost like you need to allow yourself to release this, right? You have the decrease. It's kind of like understanding that the underlying energy here is decreasing your own happiness and joy in life, even if you're allowing yourself to portray a sense of happiness and joy, right? It's kind of like, okay, I actually think that there is some benefit to that. So I'm not saying, sometimes we have to act as if things are okay for us to allow ourselves to move on and to heal, right? But there is something here about recognizing the actual grief. I think that's the word for it, the deep grief that things haven't worked out the way that you want them to. And I feel like you recognize it's time for me to move on from this situation, or it's time for us to figure out what we're doing in this situation. There's this sense of dragging on, of time, just kind of like dragging on in the situation. And it's like, okay, what do you want to commit to? Because there is a little bit of energy with this flexibility card that you're going back and forth. You're not truly getting good with yourself about what has occurred in this situation, like seeing the clarity of it, allowing yourself to process the emotions and pull back and look at the situation, maybe asking some questions of someone that maybe has hurt you, allowing yourself to have compassion for that person, but there's a sense of having compassion for yourself. Yeah, because there's a sense of it's time to commit. It's time to commit to what it is that you want to build. This is almost the energy like you've been waiting around for some resolution in some type of situation or whatever, and it's allowing yourself to maybe finally process that last bit of grief that something isn't working out the way that you wanted it to. It's like radically accepting what has ended or what needs to end so that you can really and truly start a new path. Yeah, you have cleansing. Cleanse your mind and spirit. Remove negative energy. Because I feel like this situation is only holding you back from, look, you have the Fool card and then you have the Nine of Swords. Oh, yeah. I think it's the energy of, yeah. And then you have the Six of Pentacles. And I'll have to say, the Six of Pentacles is not one of my favorite cards because it's a little bit, you see the two ladies there, they're talking, they're trying to work something out, but there's always a third person in the mix, right? And the third person can be anything. It can actually be a third person, right? It can also be, a mindset, a belief. It can be an addiction. There's something that is preventing this conversation, this connection to be as tight, right? As connected as you would like. It's kind of like, the drops of tea or milk, right? Are there. It's kind of like something, a veil, a boundary between the two of you. And it's allowing yourself to use your intuition, right? With the Six of Wands, what I feel like there's something here. Yeah, your Nine of Cups. You're really kind of like in this energy of trying to figure out what is your Nine of Cups in this situation. And I feel like for some of you, you're like, I want to move forward. I want a new path. I want to, but at the same time, how does that play out and what has occurred and being really anxious about it? So this is the energy of really allowing yourself some time by yourself, getting really good in your heart about what it is that you want for yourself. And understanding that you can't change anybody else. And there's also an energy here, if you're waiting for someone to change, to understand that they're not. And I don't feel as if it's completely because they don't want to change, but because there's some other thing in the mix, or person in the mix, or addiction in the mix, right? It's that third party. There's something else in the mix. But it's kind of like, I don't feel, you're like one of these two ladies and you can't see what's in the mix. The veil is hiding it, right? It's veiled. It's a truth that you can't see, but that doesn't mean that you can't move forward in what it is that you want to go after. It's allowing yourself to make decisions that are based on what you want for yourself. And also understanding that the situation, this person may not have wanted to hurt you as badly as they have. I think that's one of the things that's coming out here, and this may not resonate with everybody, right? But there's somebody here that you don't know the whole truth, right? With the High Priestess. You don't know the whole truth. But I feel like instinctively, intuitively, you know that there's more to the story, right? than than is being told, that is available for your insight, your wisdom at this time. But intuitively, there's more to this. And it's either allowing yourself to have the bravery to ask specific questions, right? And try to find that information, or you're allowing yourself to say, I don't know what's going on, but I also know that I have to allow myself to live a life full of happiness and joy. and really commit to who I am, what it is that I want for myself, and start building that and understanding that this person or this situation may not be part of that future. So let's pull a soul truth card for you for some final advice. See what we have here. Yeah, what passion am I ready to pursue? It's your happiness. It's your Nine of Cups. What is it your heart truly desires? And it's not allowing yourself to say, well, I want this person to change. That's not going to happen, right? I'm not saying that they may be trying to change, they may be working on themselves, but we cannot have our wishes be that other people will change, right? Because we can't manifest that other people are going to change. We can pray for healing in a situation, but we can't allow ourselves to try to control what other people's lives. All we can do is control our own life. So if you're I think the message here is, if you're trying to manifest that someone is going to change, I think this is kind of like a message that's not quite something we can control. We all have our own free will. So it's understanding that, what is it that you want for yourself? Whether this person changes or not, right? It's kind of like, what do you want for yourself? And then allowing that person to either choose that they want to go in that path with you, or if you're going to go on that path by yourself. Yes, I think this is one of those tough times where you're having to really sit and ask yourself what it is that you want for yourself. Your happiness is calling. Yeah. And you have the card of hope, knowing that you are going to be happy, right? As long as you're allowing yourself to concentrate on what you can control instead of what other people are doing, right? And we know that. It's just so hard. It's so hard when we're in this energy, because for some of you could be sitting there and saying, but if they would just change, they would just see my side of it, right? Whatever that is, understanding, we can't control that. So just allowing yourself to take that information in, radically accepting we can't control or change other people, or even hope. I guess you can hope, but that's not part of our manifestation, is changing other people. So it's getting back in your lane, controlling what you're doing, and allowing yourself to feel the grief, if needed, or to process the anger, the true feelings that you have in this situation. And part of it could be the frustration, right? That you can't change somebody else. You want them in your life, but you also understand that they could be too toxic to be in your life the way that they are now, and understanding that you can't really change them. That can be frustrating. So I'm sending you so much love and hugs, and thank you for being here. If you're staying around for the 30-day challenge, thank you so much. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Well, thank you for staying for the 30-day challenge. This is actually day 18. I'm not sure if I said that at the beginning, but today is day 18. So we only have like 12 more days. So really kind of interesting. I think for this, the theme today is about compassion and hope, right? Compassion and hope. Compassion for ourselves, compassion for another person that you may be dealing with, allowing yourself to have compassion for the situation, and hope that everything will work out for the highest good of all. Now, that's true, right? But it's a little bit about hoping that for the other person too. I feel like there's a little bit here of true compassion with yourself, that you may not know the truth of what is really going on. And sometimes that can be almost worse than it's kind of like, intuitively something's going on, but you may not be privy to that information. And having compassion, because I think sometimes when we don't know what's the truth is, it can cause us a lot of anxiety, right? But this is the energy of having compassion, that somebody at this time may not want to share the truth, or is not able to share their truth, right? For whatever reason, you may not know the whole picture. You could be separated and not talking, right? So it's kind of like you don't know what's going on with them. And allowing them, if it's, I feel like this is a situation where you would like for this relationship to work out, or this situation. And so allowing yourself to just kind of like radically accept, we're on a hiatus. It's time for me to allow myself to do the healing and process the feelings of that, and no longer hold out hope that somebody's going to change. Yes. And so for the journal activity, I think it probably is, if you're resonating with this, and for some of you, you could have a couple of different situations, especially when we're ascending. We can sometimes have this happening in a couple of different areas of our life, or in a couple of different relationships. So allowing yourself to write down how you are really feeling, the true feelings of how you are feeling about the situation, allowing those words to flow, the tears to flow, right? Whatever is coming up for you, allowing yourself to feel those feelings. And I think sometimes when we're on our spiritual journey and we want to feel spiritual, it's sometimes hard for us to accept those feelings that we may have of anger, of frustration, right? It can be sometimes that we feel like, well, I'm supposed to love and be compassionate all the time. There's an energy here of allowing yourself to let those emotions flow, and then also having compassion for yourself, for the feelings that you are feeling, like you would for a good friend. If you had a good friend that was going through a difficult time, right? Allowing yourself to be compassionate, being a good friend to yourself, to your own inner child as you're going through this. There is something about asking yourself, so in your journal, asking yourself, what is it that you want? Radically accepting the situation for what it is at this time, and then asking yourself, what is it that you want as you move forward, right? Not allowing yourself to say, this person isn't going to change. So if that person isn't going to change, then what direction do I want to go in, right? And for some of you, that means that you're willing to let yourself leave this relationship or situation behind. And then it's about allowing yourself to say, what is it that I want as I move forward? And if you're in a situation where you're wanting things to work out in the situation, and you're willing to accept the person for who they are at this time, like not hoping they're going to change, or wishing or dreaming they're going to change, but saying, okay, this is who I am, allowing myself to be connected to in the way that they are right at this moment. Then also asking yourself, how are you going to find your happiness? Because we do have the happiness card. How are you going to find your happiness in this situation? Yeah. I think it is the one of those times the energies right now are a little bit of understanding that, we've come out of that Pluto and Capricorn energy. The rules of the Capricorn energy are sometimes very stringent, very rigid. This is the energy of, okay, flexibility, right? This could be a situation where, it's kind of like a person in your life that you don't want to disconnect from, but you understand, I need more distance from this person, right? I can't see this person as often, or I can't get as involved with this person, something like that. It's kind of like, okay, because there's something here where you understand that what is occurring, the truth of the matter is that this is not a situation that you want to be as committed to as you have been in the past. Because it's preventing you, right, from having your own happiness in your life. In other words, you're overgiving to the situation. And you could be also allowing this person more leeway in the situation. Yeah. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much. I am sending you so much love and hugs. Allow yourself time with this. This is especially if you're processing grief about an ending or an ending you can see coming. Allowing yourself to process that grief. And allow yourself to feel all the feelings that come with that. Sometimes it's not just one feeling, it's a multitude of feelings, and allowing yourself to let those emotions come up to the surface. All right, I am going to leave it there. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Much love and light. Bye for now.